Hello, bonjour, and guten tag. I am back, live and in Technicolor. Today I'm going to be showing you my, drag base. It's kind of my least favourite part of my makeup, and doing it takes a little while. So when I'm filming videos and they end up being really long, this is kind of the part that I want to cut out, but I kind of feel like it's necessary to have it in. So I thought I would just make a kind of basic video that would just show you my base, and then in future I can use it as like a reference point, and I don't have to do it in every video, because otherwise every video would be 40 minutes long, and I don't want to subject you to 40 minutes of me, and I also don't want to edit 40 minutes of me. So, for like full credits, I basically stole this idea off Luna Bundy, who is mind blown, so talented, so wonderful, so gorgeous, and her YouTube channel is brilliant as well. There's not really anything else to say about it. She is the moment. So I am going to whiz off, do some skincare, which I will run you through when I'm back, and put some face tapes on, and I'll see you in a second. I'm back. So I have just put on my moisturizer, which is the Beauty Bay Day 1 moisturizer, some eye cream, which is the Pixie Retinol eye cream, and some lip balm, which is my current favourite, Aldi Lacura Dewy Lip Balm. This one's a pear one, which is the best flavour. And then I have just put my face tapes on, I've tied them back, I've lost the elastics again, so I'm just using some shoelaces out of an old pair of dance shoes again, because I am an idiot. And I think that's everything. Yeah, my face tapes aren't as tight at the moment. Top tip if you're using face tapes, if you feel it like going hot and prickly between your eyebrows when you use them, you've got them done up too tight. They kept on pinging off, and I realised that I'm actually just an idiot, and I was trying to basically give myself like Jocelyn Wildenstein style facelift, which did not go to plan, so we move. But now I'm going to go in with the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector liquid and kind of put it all over my face. Because drag makeup tends to be a little bit heavier, I find that putting a kind of liquid illuminator, although it makes me look a little bit insane for a while, putting this on under my foundation just kind of makes it look a little bit more skin-like, which, I mean, I know I'm not fooling anyone, but I also don't want to look kind of too artificial looking.
You're plastic. Cold, shiny, hard plastic.
The kind of look that I go for with my drag is this, like a mean fashion lady. So, although I do want to look perfect, I don't want to look plastic, if that makes sense. Although, like, if you want to look plastic, then, like, you do you. It's just not really a look I can pull off. So, now I'm going in with my foundation, which is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filtr Soft Matte Foundation. I forgot to shake it. And I'm taking it on a Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, which is my favourite brush, and just buffing it in. And don't forget to get your ears as well. And then just because I am a little bit insane, I'm also just going to take it down the centre of my chest, because my outfit for today has like a sheer panel going down the middle, so I want everything to just kind of line up and look perfect. Fab. So now I'm going to cover up my good Judy over here, and also go in with some highlighting. So to cover up Queen Diva, I'm going to use the Colourpop No Filter Concealer, and I'm just going to tap that, I'm just going to blend that out with the Morphe GH08 brush. I quite like this concealer because it's quite dry, which for the under eyes isn't amazing. However, on the face it literally does not budge, and I sweat a lot. Like a lot. So I kind of need whatever help I can get with making sure things down there don't move. Ooh.
What?
And now I'm taking my Revolution Conceal and Hydrate concealer in C3, and I'm going to highlight under my eyes. I kind of bring that down the sides of my nose to kind of highlight that, and then also just in the middle of my forehead. Am I running out of this? Yes. Am I using every last drop of it? Because I'm at the end of my student loan, also yes. So we move. Voila. And then I am going to take my Expert Face Brush again, and I'm just going to blend that out. And when I'm kind of blending this out, I'm using almost like stippling motions, because I don't want it to move too much, but it kind of just blends it quite easily. And it doesn't matter if these aren't too intense, because we are going to go in and reinforce highlights with another cream and then some powders, so that is all very fun. So I'm not going to cream contour, so I'm just taking my Fenty Beauty Matchstix in Amber. And while I'm doing that, the other night we went to see actually my first drag show, which was amazing. We met Ellie Diamond, Ginny Lemon and Ahora, and then Crystal Versace was supporting, and it was honestly, okay, I've put that cream contour on completely wrong, but we'll have to see what we can do with the blend. It was brilliant. We met Ellie Diamond, and she is like one of the most wonderful, sweetest people ever, and Ahora is literally beautiful. I could not believe it. So when I've done this cream contour, I'm kind of creating an almost like curved shape that goes from the top of my ear to the corner of my mouth. And I find that using points on my face as a reference for where I contour helps to get it the same every time, because I am like a little bit dyspraxic, so I find it really hard to completely replicate shapes. It's part of the reason why like I don't really wear eyeliner, because it's really, really difficult and I'm not very good at it. And then with my nose, I've just gone down the sides, which obviously kind of, not necessarily slims it down, I'm more adding definition. And then under the bottom, which creates this like, it like picks up the nose. And then I've done a line across the bridge just above the tip, which kind of creates that little button nose, like perky effect, which is like quite nice and interesting. And all of these shapes are kind of complementing the highlighting. And I've done makeup on other people before, professionally, and not professionally really. I got a couple of paid gigs, and like you really do have to like change your contouring for different face shapes, how it works for you, how it works for other people. So don't kind of use this guide as gospel, but if you want to look like me, if you replicate these steps, it will just look like someone has taken my face and put it on your face. And I have lost my highlight. And then I am just taking my Fenty Beauty Matchstix in Linen, and I'm just cleaning up where those contours went, which means highlighting down my nose, down the sides of my nose as well, my top lip. I like to do just under my eyes over here, just to make sure that it kind of really is nice and clean, and also this line here kind of gives me a guide for the shape of my eye makeup. And then I go from like the top of my ear to the corner of my mouth, like so, and that just kind of cuts it. And this isn't quite a straight line, it's just slightly curved, because curved shapes kind of create a much more feminine appearance. And then I'm just going to lift it at the back here, just kind of lift those cheekbones a little bit further, which once again, it just kind of creates this much more feminine look, which isn't like essential for drag makeup, but it's very much what I kind of go for. And then I'm just blending this out with, it's a Morphe M439. It's just kind of a small round buffing brush, and I just realised I forgot to blend out underneath my lip, so I can just do that now. And in terms of like my jawline, I don't really contour it. I don't have a particularly strong jawline anyway, and kind of quite an important element to my drag, I feel, is that it has this kind of gender bendy element to it. So I'm not completely feminizing my face, but I don't want to look entirely male nor entirely female. For the next step, I am going to add some cream blush, which I have lost. Nice, well done there. So I'm going to take some of this, which is the Nars Multiple in Orgasm, and I'm just gonna rub it on the back of my hand, because I find that if I use it straight onto my face, it lifts my foundation a bit. Then I'm taking a brush. This is it's like the Pat McGrath highlighting brush, I think, and kind of just put it onto my cheeks. And I'm kind of placing this quite high on my cheekbones to create a lifted look, but it also has like a fair bit of shimmer in it, so it does almost work like a cream highlighter as well, which is very gorgeous. And I like to kind of bring it quite close to the outer corner of my eye. I don't know why. I think I remember seeing somewhere that it's quite common in like Eastern and Asian makeup styles, but I don't know, I feel like it kind of quite well complements my face shape, so I'm not going to stop doing it. So, I'm now going to take my RCMA No Colour powder. I've just got it in an old COTY Airspun container. It kind of like, No Colour powder, if you're like an internet makeup person like I was and still am, No Colour powder gets a bit of a bad rep because it is honestly not one of the most kind of complex or sophisticated powders, but it does the job, and I find that it does the job like actually quite well. Plus it's really cheap. I think it's like £12 and you get this like spice shaker full of it, which is, I mean, always handy. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking the kind of pointed side of the sponge and I'm tapping out under my eyes. And then I'm taking the flat side and I'm just using this to press powder in, like right under my eyes, and then I'm following the shape of my lower lash line and kind of raising it a little bit and just stamping a line like this, and then making sure that they look roughly equal, which they don't, so I'm going to just pop some more powder on there, just a touch. And then I am going to do the same kind of thing but with my kind of under my cheekbone highlights. Now these don't have to be too precise because you can just kind of dust the powder off and it will not highlight as hard, but I just find that using this straight edged sponge does really like, it like adds that kind of sharpness and precision, and it makes it really easy to create like really defined shapes, which I really like. So then anywhere where I don't really need defined shapes but I would still quite like some highlighting, I'm just taking the like down side, just dipping it into my powder, getting a fair bit on, and then just pressing it into place. And I'm just taking this flat edge as well and just carving out down the side of my nose. Right, so now that that's done, I am going to take some actual COTY Airspun. This is the translucent extra coverage version. I really like this version for drag because it doesn't flash back at all, and it does also just kind of smooth out all of the shapes, and it makes your base a little bit more blended and smoother. So I'm just taking this on a powder puff and I'm just going to smash it into my face as hard as I can. The other thing about this powder is you might hear a lot of drag queens referring to like grandma powder. It's COTY Airspun because I hate the smell of it personally, but I believe it's the same formula as like the 1930s. And there we have it, the finished tutorial. So thank you so much for... No, I'm joking. It does kind of feel like it's mandatory to do that at this point. So now, while this is all baking, I am taking... Oh, I'm a poet. Look at me, Dr. Seuss over here, but without the racism. I am going to take... This is my Kevyn Jewel Pop palette, but in this palette is actually a product which you can get separately, and I did have separately until I dropped it and it shattered and I cried. This is the Sculpting Medium Powder, and this is like a super cool toned contour powder, and I'm just going to use that to carve out my cheekbones. And I find that doing this while the powder is still on, it like knocks off the highlights where you want there to be the shadows, which means that you can really reinforce those highlights but still get the depth that you want. And it also helps you to kind of check that your shapes are even, because the white powder is a much starker line than your contour is going to be. Now I'm wearing a wig with a fringe today, so my forehead is getting a little bit neglected, but we'll give her some love and attention. Fabulous. So I'm now going to go in with... Very interesting. I've lost the bronzer.
A few moments later.
I'm going to take my Marc Jacobs Omega bronzer. I've dropped this a few times, it shattered as well, I repressed it, it looks like a mess, but it's a really, really nice bronzer. So I'm going to take this on a Sigma F10 powder blush brush, and I'm going to use this to kind of blend between the contour and the skin tone, almost. Basically just, I'm going to put it wherever I naturally bronze, and I can quite easily. However, wear your SPF. But, wear your SPF. Don't be stupid, wear factor 50. Or if you don't want to be a little bitch, wear factor 30. I don't even know you, and I care more about your skin than you may do. It's very fun and sexy of me. Very fun and sexy. So I just took a little bit more of my contour powder and ran it down the sides of my nose just to contour it. But I'm now going to take my Marc Jacobs bronzer again on a relatively large, fluffy eyeshadow brush, which is a little bit pink stained, but we move, and I did also just swap brushes off camera. And I'm just going to kind of contour my nose a little more precisely. Now, I'm not really changing the shape of my nose with my contour, but I'm more just kind of making it, like defining it a little bit and kind of really reinforcing this kind of perky, like, I mean Gigi Good calls it a ski slope nose, which I kind of love. But I'm now just going to wipe off my bake because, well, you'll see in a minute. And if you leave this bacon down here, it does turn into a bit of a beard, but it's okay because we'll say it's intentional. So if you leave your bacon down here for long enough, it will create this almost highlight, and it prevents your wig from casting too much of a shadow against your like face and it getting too dark and shadowy. So now I'm gonna add some blush. Now, as always, I've lost my blush. So I'm just going to take the blush in my Jewel Pop palette, which is called Rose Quartz. It's just quite a nice blush. And I'm taking this on a angled brush, and I'm just going to pop that kind of up on my cheekbones. I'm bringing it a little bit further in than I did with my kind of bronzer and contour, because it can kind of, I find that it rounds your face out a little bit more. And then I also just like to, I don't know why, I like to take a little bit onto my temples. I think it just kind of ties everything in a little bit better. And then I'm going to take this brush, which is a JH06 brush, but it's like super fluffy and not very dense. And I'm just going to take this with a tiny bit of this blush over my nose. And the reason I kind of knocked off all the powder before is because the blush doesn't really do much to kind of contour and highlight, and I wanted to kind of almost like mesh everything together a little bit. I don't want those harsher lines where the powder has been knocked off by the blush and it's kind of highlighting around them, if you know what I mean. And then we're going to give it a spritz. And this is just the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. I know Morphe are like not a great company and have been involved in a couple of shady dealings, but this setting mist is very good and very cheap, and I also bought it in bulk when I first discovered it because it was on sale. So, and now that we've done that, we get to do some highlighter. No, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. Not for me. Not for me.
Later that same evening.
I'm back. I'm changed. I have eaten lunch. I had 2 veggie hot dogs. I have a little bit of like stuff on the sides of my nose from where my glasses have been, but we'll ignore that for now. So I am now going to get on with my eyebrows. I've had a few requests to kind of go over how I do my eyebrows, and I've kind of zoomed you in so you can see it a little bit better. I don't glue my eyebrows down because I really struggle with like symmetry and stuff, so I'm not very good at drawing them back on. But I find that I already have like a fairly androgynous face, so I find that just using face tapes to lift the brow a little bit kind of does everything I need it to. Plus you get the really nice kind of brow hair textures. So I'm first going to take a brow pencil. This is the Lacura brow pencil. It is from Aldi, and I'm just going to brush through my eyebrows. Now this is my better eyebrow, so I'm going to show you how I do my brows on this one, and then I will do my other one off camera. But I just take the brow pencil and I kind of take this line that's been created, and where it kind of dips down at the end, I just extend it to about there, and then I do the same on top. So like here, and then I just kind of draw the tail on. Oh, bollocks. If something like this happens, I just kind of try and blend it in a little bit, and then later on I'll take some foundation and tidy it up. So I actually think this arch needs to come a little bit higher, like this, and then I just fill in the rest of my eyebrow as normal. Now I was using the Glossier Brow Flick for this previously, but it literally ran out the other day, so I was very annoyed. Okay, and now for the other one. Okay, so now that they are not at all even whatsoever. We love to see it. I'm going to carve out the bottoms of my brows with some of the Anastasia Beverly Hills eye primer. I'm actually running a little bit low on this, so once again kind of talking to no one here. But if anybody knows any dupes, if you happen to be watching this at some point and you know of a good dupe for Anastasia eye primer, please let me know. And I'm just taking that on this flat brush. This is from Morphe, and I'm going to carve under my eyebrows. So I just start in here, and because this brush has a flat top, it makes it really easy to get like a straight line underneath, because you can almost like stamp it. And I like to have quite straight brows. I don't really put much of an arch into my brows because I find that just kind of, this makes me look meaner, basically. So now I'm just going to take the brush I used for my concealer and the eye primer on the back of my hand still, and I'm just going to apply it onto my eyes, use it as an eye primer. And I just blend that into the highlight that goes kind of under my eyes anyway. And there we go. So this looks a little bit wild, so the next step is to make it look a little bit more insane. I am going to bake under my eyes again to catch any fallout from eyeshadows. But what I am also going to do during this time is kind of reinforce all of the highlights that we put down earlier. Then I'm going to take my Sigma tapered face brush and I'm going to brush off the bake from anywhere where I don't want to highlight. And I'm going to take my Sigma small fluff and I'm going to do some of the more precise baking, like around my nose. So I was going to film this as a YouTube tutorial, but I decided I'd rather just listen to the burlesque soundtrack. So instead, I've got this foxy little eye on. It's a bit different. I don't usually go this dark, but I really like it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. But anyways, back to the base. I have just kind of wiped off the bake. I'm now going to finish my eyebrows because they are looking a little bit dodgy. So I'm going to take some brow pomade. This is the Sigma Define and Pose Brow Pomade in White, and I'm just going to take this on a little angled brush and I'm just going to draw in little individual hair strokes. I find that doing this just kind of adds in texture and helps to disguise where my actual eyebrows end. I usually do it with like a brow pen, but like I said, run out, gotta go get a new one. Like, Glossier, NYX, Anastasia, you watching this, come on. Please, you know, go look. I could be the UK's next drag superstar, you don't know. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the base. I'm just going to give myself a spritz with some setting spray, and I'm going to do a lip. I am going to now hop off camera. I'm going to put some lashes on, and a bit of a wig, and maybe a top. Maybe not a top, maybe I'll just be topless, we never know. And I will be back in a minute with a finished look. So, here's a final look. I'm wearing a bodysuit from, I'm not sure where it's originally from, but I got it from Ebloggers, and on my bottoms I am wearing a grand total of nothing because it's not in short, so I don't need to get dressed. The wig is I'm not sure, I'll have a look. Wait, editing that, what kind of wig is this? If you like this video, then please like, subscribe, comment down below, tell me something, anything, give me a fun fact, and make sure you are following me on Instagram at mattressmua to see all of my hottest pictures. And also, like, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye. Oh fuck. Fuck. It's Sunday.